Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. Now, this is the second of the third of the 3 videos I said I was going to upload today. It's still today here, technically. I don't know where it is for you. It might be tomorrow, but it's still today. So, I want to clear up some confusion that you people may have. What do I mean by what are Max and Chloe doing in 2033? Now, first off, this is just a theory video. This is just me making guesses, making assumptions, because we really don't have that much information. Now, in one of the endings for Life is Strange 2, this is based off the ending this year, 2033, sorry, got tongue-tied there, is where Sean surrenders and he ends up going to jail, and Daniel goes and lives with his grandparents. Now, when Sean gets out of prison, the year is 2033. I'm pretty sure it's 2033, or it might be it's somewhere between 2033 and 2031. I don't know if it's 31, 32, or 33 because I've checked the timeline and it says the year is 2033 when Sean gets out of jail. But with the end of the game, Life is Strange 2, it ends in 2017, and you got 17, and you add 15, you get 2032. So you 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, 30, 31, 32, yeah. So that might be a mistake on the timeline, but we're just going to assume it's 2032 because it makes more sense that way. So I'm just going to ignore that part of the timeline. Okay, now first of all, we have to discuss how old Max and Chloe would be in this scenario. Alright, so in the year 2032, Chloe would be 38 and Max would be 37, and that's really just a mindfuck when you think about it, because it was like a mindfuck for me here when it jumped 15 years ahead in the future, because those other endings were normally, I think, about 6 years later. Like, most of the endings were 6 years later, and then this one jumped ahead 15, and I was like, wow, okay, I did not see that coming. So, yeah, that was a pretty big shock for me. So, I assume because what we can gather from episode 5 when David talks to Chloe on the phone, we can use that information to help determine what kind of lives that Max and Chloe are leading in 2032. Now, we do know from David that Max is submitting photos to galleries and she's trying to become a photographer, like a famous one, you know, just get her work out there. And I assume that in this timeline, Max would become a famous photographer. Well, maybe not famous, but, you know, she'd become a successful one. You know, who knows? Maybe she would become famous. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. And as for Chloe, there's really not much to say because we don't really find out much about her after Life is Strange 1 unless you count the comics, which aren't canon. Because in the comics, Chloe is a mechanic, and I can see Chloe doing that as well, you know, being a mechanic, because I could actually see her open her own, because, you know, there are some people who work as mechanics, and then later they end up somehow working at dealerships. I really don't know much about cars and all how that works, but I assume that, like, if Chloe fixed up her truck, she found it at the junkyard, she fixed that up before the storm. I really did like that little part of the game where you got to fix up the truck. So she knows how to handle vehicles. So it's not entirely impossible to see her become the manager of her own garage at some point in this timeline. Like, maybe she could even be the owner of her own garage, and she could become a custom dealer or something like that, you know, just taking various vehicle parts and putting them on other vehicles. You know what I mean? But she's also, if you remember in the comics, I'm getting tongue-tied here, sorry. Chloe works on the logos for the high seas. So, what could happen in this scenario also is she could become an artist, because Chloe is a pretty good artist, like with her graffiti and all that. Like, saying people in the game say it's like spray painting shit, and you know, just it isn't art, you know, but art comes in many different forms and that, so I can assume that Chloe could become an artist. Like, she could even design her own logos if she were to own a mechanic shop or a dealership. She could make her own logos for that. And then there's also the possibility, this seems like a stretch, but you know what, I'm going to throw it in there. If you remember in Life is Strange episode 1, season 1, when you're playing as Max and you're searching Chloe's room, you can find those old comics that they made together when they were drawing, and there was like Super Max, and then they got those pirate ones with, I think it was a comic, Bluebeard Chloe or something like that. And in their journals, because when you play Before the Storm in Life is Strange 1, even Life is Strange 2, with Daniel, they're all of them are great drawers in their journals, but this is really more fleshed out with Daniel, where you get, that's one of the things I do like about Life is Strange 2 with Daniel, how you get to choose what he draws in the journal and that. I thought that was pretty neat, even if they're just like, it's not part of the story, like, because those are the optional drawings. They're still fun to do, and it's fun to choose between what to draw and that. So yeah, I could see Max and Chloe working as artists. They could come up with their own stories. Who knows? Maybe they could even end up writing a book or something, because they're both creative in that. But I feel like maybe they'd make more of a comic book series than an actual like novelization. But since Life is Strange has an infinite amount of possibilities and different timelines, anything's possible. We got that timeline in episode 3, where Max is part of the Vortex Club, and she smokes pot with Victoria, who's her best friend there. So you never know. Who knows what Max could be doing in this timeline or not? We don't know, but I really do hope we get a chance to find out more about her, because even though we got a little information about her in Life is Strange 2, that was really the most we learnt about her, and even though it was short, it was still quite enjoyable, even seeing David again. So anyways, I'm just going to end this video here. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think Max and Chloe would be doing in the year 2032? So, because I'd really be interested to hear your thoughts on that, and let me know what you think about mine in the comments below. This is TotalGamerJunkie signing off, but before I sign off, I still have one more video to upload, and that's going to be uploaded soon. So stay tuned.